6 years she's invested in this dude. 6 years. He's been a great partner, great bonus dad, but in the past few months, she kind of feels like something might have shifted, and now she wants something different, or now she's wondering if he wants something different, just really confused, and wants your advice. If you got something going on, you want to hit us up, do so at thebertshow.com. Kristen has the email.
Dear Bert Show, I have a problem and would like some advice. This will most likely hit home more so for Bert. I've been in a relationship for about 6 years. I have a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. About 18 months ago, I sold my house and we moved in with my boyfriend. I love him. He's a wonderful man and a great bonus dad. Many of my daughter's teachable moments come from him. Within the past few months, something within our relationship has shifted. This sounds so cliche, but it's not him, it's me. 18 months in, I'm finding myself wanting something different, something more. Full disclosure, I had my reservations before we moved in together, but I thought the disconnect was our long-distance relationship. I thought our communication, piano playing, and relationship would only flourish by moving in together.
If you're a new Bert Show listener, piano playing means something physical, but we know that we have kids listening.
My emotional cup is not being fulfilled, but it's not from lack of his efforts. We just communicate differently. We're just two different people with two completely different sets of needs. I'm a very passionate and affectionate person. He is not at all. I've expressed my feelings. However, I do not believe they are being truly heard. I don't think he can understand my needs as he can't relate. I so dearly do not want to hurt him or my daughter. He was going to ask me to marry him this past weekend, but I dodged it. And I feel like a horrible, horrible person. There is a part of me that really questions his own true happiness. Is he settling because he doesn't want to start over at 55? Having said that, he also had a very strange chat with my daughter this past weekend. It was about us moving out. I only heard part of the conversation, so I haven't addressed it yet. I thought after 6 years I would know if he's the one. Am I collecting red flags? I've thought a lot about this and have seen professional help. No one else knows. I would like advice from the Bert Show fam and Bert specifically. Please and thank you. Love you guys. A Cincinnati listener.
Okay. If you guys want to get in on this also, 1-855-BERT Show. Well, first of all, my first thing would be it just sounds like there's a lot of either miscommunication or no communication going on between the two of you guys. 6 years in, you should definitely have more working knowledge of each other than you do right now.
But they are communicating. They're just not hearing each other. Because she says, I've expressed my feelings. I just do not believe they are being truly heard. Yeah. I don't think he understands my needs.
But she also says that I heard him talking to our daughter about this past weekend about us moving out, which hasn't even been on the table.
Yeah.
So maybe the question for you guys is, how did you know for sure your loving relation that it was time for you to leave your relationship? 1-855-BERT Show. And for me, it was a easy. The process was hard, but the question is easy, right? And I think I've told you guys this. I mean, I was with the same woman for 20 years, right? And when we realized that we were having problems, we both came from the same school that you give 190%, especially if there are kids involved. You go to therapy. You do everything you can if you were going to leave that family, and you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, did I give it everything? And we felt like we were doing that. But with me and my ex-wife, we're fighters, man. We would have stayed in that thing and stayed in that thing and stayed in that thing. And one night while we were on our date night, I came to the table. I think I've told you guys this before. Mm-hmm. I came to the table with I printed something off of the internet about how to make your relationship stronger. And I was ready to go over it with her and try to work our way through the problems we were having. And I broke it out and she looked at me and she asked, she's like, do you love me? And I've told you guys before, it was the hardest thing, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Because I knew in my heart that I didn't. But the words coming out of my mouth was somebody I had so much history for and so much respect for also. Having to tell myself, okay, if you just can say these words, then we could both move on with our lives. So she said, do you love me? And I had to say, I sat there for a second and said no. And that was it. And from that point forward, it really opened up everything for us, to be honest with you. I think she was feeling that. I don't even know that I even asked. Do you still love me? I mean, I think she asked the question. I was honest. And then I think I sensed sadness, but I also sensed a lot of relief.
Yeah.
It was, and the question I'm saying for our Cincinnati listener here also is, do you still love the dude? If you don't have the love, move on. But if you do, keep churning.
I know they always say, like, you think you know somebody until you move in with them, right? That's when you truly find out who you're with. And they've been in together 18 months now. So I guess you would feel like she has a good sense of whether or not they should be together from living together. But it's funny. I just had this conversation with my mom a couple of days ago, who has been with my dad, I think 25, 26 years now successfully. And she was kind of speaking to how someone asked her, you know, all these years, how have they done it? And I asked her the same thing, like, not how have you done it, but and when times were rough, you know, what'd you do? And she told me it was always two things for her. One, you know, is the person worth it? You have to ask yourself that, because it's going to be a fight regardless, whoever you choose. And she said, I never felt as if your dad wasn't worth the fight. So for me, it was always worth it to fight. And she also said she would ask him in those times, can you picture me being loved by another man? And can I picture you being loved by another woman? And if the answer to that question is no, then you still have something worth fighting for with each other. And that's how she stuck it out.
It's good stuff. That's tough, though, man, when you're on. And I have said this time and time again also that sometimes the hardest part for me in anything I'm doing, especially relationships, is limbo. Is constantly asking yourself, should I be here? Should I not be here? And you're drawing lists up in your head, good things, bad things. Limbo is the worst, man. After a while, I think you just got to be really honest with yourself and say, hey, do I love this person? And if the answer is no, it is time to move on. It's that simple, but it's hard.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched, you can get more of The Bert Show on your favorite podcast platform. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. I don't know what any of these buttons do, by the way.